We play and call it work.
Hey there, Wargamers. Josh and Lee here to continue on our weekly sit and talk. So this is the continuing adventures of Assemblyman and Paintboy.
Finally!
Yes!
You heard it here, folks. He said it.
I said Assemblyman and Paintboy.
Yeah.
I'm Assemblyman.
No, you're not.
Well, I'm not Paintboy, I can tell you that much. Anyways, guys, we're going to jump in and start answering your questions in a couple minutes. The comment section, I will admit, in this video is somewhat sparse compared to the past. So either we're getting boring or you don't have any of those, hard-hitting questions. Well, at least there's less of them. So keep in mind, guys, next week it will be David Beverly Quirk himself answering your questions. So make sure you leave all of the questions, comments, whatever you have for QFed. Here in this video. Don't leave it in the vault video because he won't read them, he won't see them, they won't get answered. Other than that, let's lead right into answering some questions here. All right. The swoos.
The swoos?
And this is a generic question, but I'll actually go ahead and answer it. Question, do you guys turn down the mic when making the sit and talk vids, or do you just have the camera so far away it doesn't pick up your voice as well? Actually, if everything goes properly, we're mic'd up for sound, but sometimes things don't go well.
And some of us actually have a quieter voice than other people.
Right. But
I think I know what he's getting at, though.
No, I understand. So I actually had Rob come in and set up the audio for us for this video. Because I will admit I'm terrible at the audio part of this job. And I'm trying to learn and get better. Trying to figure out what equipment will work best and how to set it up best, so you guys can enjoy these videos a little bit more. But yeah, that's what we got for the meantime. So it's on Rob. He set this up for us, and the audio actually sounds amazingly good. So unless I do something terrible during this video, it should stay that way. Pardon me, guys. Every once in a while, I got my drink for me because I get dry mouth. All right, so yeah, it's our amateurish. Sometimes amateurish capability to have good sound in videos that comes up.
Which is kind of funny since we're going into our, 10th anniversary?
I'm going into my, year and a half. I don't know.
And it's not my job, so...
Yeah, no, there's a couple of different kinks we're working out, but I think the biggest issue comes in when we're doing multiple people on one video and balancing the audio properly and making sure the equipment's set up properly. That seems to be the kind of weakness, so we're working on getting better at that. Alrighty, next we're gonna look at Die X Cast. Ooh, so I like this one. This kind of
actually pretty good, yeah.
Lee, what are some tools that you would consider essential for conversions or kit bashing?
A good X-Acto blade is essential. And good clippers. Because you've seen my studio, I have like 5 different clippers I use of different things.
Yep.
So if you have good clippers you only use for plastic,
right,
they don't get notched.
Yep.
That's the thing. Because I have one set of clippers I use for paper clips exclusively.
Right. I've got the same system now. I use 2 different clippers. One of the decent, I think one of the Army Painter ones, but I'm going to switch over to a Games Workshop one shortly.
Yeah, the one with the brown handle.
Yeah, it's a really nice one. I keep using yours, and I need to
you're using my old one.
Right.
So
they're actually surprisingly nice.
Yeah, they got like a flat bottom on one side, so you get a straight cut. They're really good.
Yeah, so that would be considered essential. Is there other stuff other than
files?
The needle files?
Yeah, needle files. Good fine grit sandpaper is really good.
Comes in amazingly helpful sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so talking blades too, because I think we're back and forth on this one. I think actually no, you and me are the ones that agree. Everybody else only likes the one style because you use the extendable X-Acto knives and I'm going to call it a pen knife. It looks like a metal pen that holds.
Yeah, it's like a scalpel type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a scalpel kind of setup.
Yeah.
I almost exclusively use the scalpel type setup.
Yeah.
I find
depends on what I'm doing. I mean, I'll put a model together with power tools if it gets the job done. So
That's true. That's true.
like just drilling things and putting screws in.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff we can end up talking about here. See, I tried to hide the fact I was burping, but it didn't work there. I didn't like belch out loud, but... Brr. Sorry, guys. Other essential stuff. I mean, like, there's a lot of little things that you get into if you want to get into proper conversion kit bashing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so one of the things I know we're different on, and there's some crossover, but not that much, is you use a lot more super glue.
Yeah.
I use a lot more plastic glue, like plastic cement kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I personally find for anything basic conversion-wise, especially when doing arms, I like the plastic glue because it doesn't set right away. So I can get the Space Marine holding the bolter the exact right way I want him to.
Yeah.
And I can kind of play around
With me,
with the
it's more of an
pose.
issue of like being impatient and just like I want it to stick now.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, a lot of times, like, I go into...
But I do have time to like fiddle the arms around with the super glue.
Right. See, I go into a conversion not knowing... A lot of times I don't know exactly how I want them to look, especially when it comes to poses and stuff like that.
No.
So I like the plastic glue and that I can kind of move them around a bunch. But,
Yeah, and I probably got used to using super glue because I reuse a lot of bits and models and stuff.
right. Well, that's the one that plastic glue is no good for, because plastic glue will actually melt it and create a
Yeah.
bond that you can't really properly... You can kind
No,
of
you-
break it depending on how much glue you use, but...
Yeah, you can't snap it.
Right. The super glue stuff, if you want to use those bits later, change your mind or whatever,
Yeah.
comes in a lot more handy.
Where you go from an edition where a power fist is really good and where it's not really good, and you just snap it off and give him a sword.
Or a flamer.
Yeah. or
Yeah, all that
whatever.
different kind of stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, good clips, snippy dips, and a good X-Acto blade. Having like a box cutter, like the one I use,
Yep.
I have this big box cutter thing, is really good too if you want to get stuff. If you got a Space Marine and you want to cut his arm off,
Right.
like through the middle of it.
Yep.
You're not gonna do that with an X-Acto blade. I mean,
No.
you could like scrape it through, but with the other one, you just put it on the table and it's
See, that's
gone.
where I get into... I don't use them very often. Actually, I don't even know if I own one. No, I do own one. Is a hobby saw.
Yeah. We use those for bigger pieces.
Yeah.
But well, it all depends on what you're doing. I mean, I have a box full of all kinds of different.
a lot of it, yeah, it
tools.
depends. Because when we talk about the glue stuff, I'm impatient about making my cuts.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot more. Like, you'll fiddle around with a
Oh yeah.
big X-Acto blade, and I'll try to just do it all at once and put it through my leg.
Yeah.
So I think part of it comes down to, whatever it is. The other one I'm going to say essential for doing conversions, kit bashing stuff is some sort of organization system. So whether it's a tackle box or something else.
Yeah.
But just so you're not sifting through all the different bits looking for stuff,
Yeah.
some
At
organization.
least, like the way I do it is, for some stuff like all the calf stuff, I have this. You've probably seen it on my wall downstairs. I have this big like shelf compartment storage thing.
Yep.
And you've got like Mark IV shoulder pads, Mark III shoulder pads. And that's all the way down to that.
Right.
But mostly I do it by faction or race. So I have like 40k Chaos, 40k Space Marine. So you don't have to go through your entire collection to find a bit. But if you have time and the patience to do it, clip everything out of the sprues and put them in their own separate thing.
Yeah, it would make a difference. So hopefully that's a little bit get you going for doing some conversion stuff. And obviously you don't need all of that stuff, but you collect it over time. Like, don't rush out and buy all that at once.
Yeah,
But
like
figure out
everything
what
that's left
tools
over.
work
Just,
best for the way you want to work, I think, is one of the big ones. Okay. Then, Josh, does MiniWarGaming have any plans for an All-primaris battle report? Now that we're getting a lot of new models, it would be great to see them all in action. I don't know if we have plans for it. Out of everybody here, do we have a straight-up Space Marine player?
not really.
We're kind of, but not really.
Not really.
There's no plans for it. I mean, we use the models when we feel like using them, and I don't know. All-primaris would be kind of a tough play. I'm trying to think of what we have ready to go in the studio, and we don't have any of the aggressors. They are the heavy support-looking guys.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have any of them. And I don't think we have one of the...
I'm not trying to sound disinterested. I'm just like, this stuff is coming out so fast. I can't keep
crazy.
up.
Well, no, and I mean, nobody's asking you to do them right now. Like, they're not
No.
high on our priority scale. The Primaris Repulsor, the big hover tank, I don't think we have one of those
We
ready
have
to
two
go.
of them.
Ready to go?
No.
Okay, yeah.
I have a bunch of boxes downstairs, but other projects keep
So,
getting in the way.
I'm not going to say that we won't do a Primaris and all.
It'd be kind of cool, though.
It would be funky. I just don't think it's, something that anybody's really excited about. Like, I need to play all Primaris and see how the army plays. They're cool. We like them, but no. All right, next we get Didi. I actually don't know how to say your name right. What do you think?
Didi?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The first little bit's for Luca, and yeah, Luca's hilarious. He is absolutely
love that kid.
hilarious.
I really do.
Okay, so Josh, you have carte blanche to take a fantasy AOS army and port them into 40k. Which army do you choose?
Ooh, I know.
Go ahead, what's it going to be?
The new dwarves. Sky dwarves.
I actually, honestly, I want my ogres.
In 40k?
I've fallen in love with that faction more and more. And I want beyond, like, ogrins. I want to see... I wonder how they would do them. Because if they did them as just other boring abhumans, that's dumb.
So you mean like a warp storm clears and they find this Ogrin Empire type thing?
Well, yeah, that would be...
That'd be kind of cool.
I think there is something that they could do, because the universe is so big.
So your basic true will be toughness 6, 3 wounds?
Yeah, of course. It's only 3 wounds now. He'll be like 5 wounds.
Blah!
No, okay. So off the top of my head, yeah, if I was to port an army over, that would be the one. Because part of the reason that I love the ogres so much in fantasy and AOS, and to a lesser degree AOS, but for fantasy, you look at a lot of the different armies out there, and they're based upon a Tolkien-esque sort of feel for fantasy.
Yeah.
And the ogres were one of the few armies that I can say confidently there wasn't really much of an equivalent that I know of. They felt pretty unique. I mean, there's ogres in other systems, but the way that they had the ogres set up for fantasy felt really kind of...
Yeah, when the ogre kingdoms came in.
Yeah.
Because they had, like, the big stupid brute.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in the Empire and stuff.
Yeah, and you could have them as dogs of war in some different armies. But yeah, an entire faction, that was pretty cool. And I like my ogres. So I would be really interested to see their take. I have no idea how they would look. I don't know how they would pull that off. But that's why I think I'd want them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if somebody was they were to transfer an army over, I want to see Team Fat Guy. And then here we go. Lee, what is your favorite Icelandic word? Lee's hilariously shy about Icelandic stuff. You got a favorite one?
No, I don't.
I do. I have a multitude of them, actually, and I can't pronounce any of them. Let me think. 'Cause, okay, you guys do a bunch of... There's some compound words for stuff, and it's terms, let's see if I can remember correct, that really didn't take off. It was...
Yeah, most of them I hadn't heard before. You were sitting downstairs and you're going, hey, what does this mean? I'm like, I don't know. Never heard that before.
Right, and so the one that I think that entertained me the most and had me laughing was Lothbear, which is... Okay, so the translation, I believe, was...
Direct translation is...
Is hairy berry.
Yeah. Or furry berry.
Or furry berry. And that's... Here, take a second. Can you guess what it is? It's a kiwi fruit.
Yeah.
Because
it's a hairy berry.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of them, like... I don't remember the actual, the proper... the Morgus? With the fat goose?
Mörgæs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Said it just like it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, and a fat goose is a penguin.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of funny ones that if you look them up, they're kind of neat because I'm not well studied, but I have a basic interest in different cultures and linguistics and things like that. So it's all Scandinavian based, right? Like that's where
it's all the Norse Germanic stuff.
Which is pretty cool to see how that has changed over the years. Now, okay, so like the Old Norse kind of stuff. Like, do you ever watch the show Vikings?
No.
Okay, I'm going to show you clips after because there's a couple times that they speak Old Norse. See if they sound any good at all or not. It's a Canadian show with a decent following, and I mean they're doing their best. But I'm curious to get your take on it. You Icelandic Iceland snob.
Well, I'm actually more of a Viking snob, because
Okay. I'm trying to think because
there's no such thing as Vikings.
Right, yeah. To call somebody a Viking, we understand now what it means, but when you look at the meaning of the word, it doesn't make that much sense, right?
No, it's raider.
Right.
That's what it is.
Because the Vikings more of a
It's something
it's
you
verbiage,
do.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's something you do, not something you are. So, and having a show called Vikings with Ragnar Lothbrok.
See, you know a little bit.
Yeah, I know it. I tried watching it. I was like, oh, this is dumb. I can't watch this.
It's a charming show.
If you want to watch people making a really, really good attempt at Icelandic and Old Icelandic, watch Pathfinder.
I heard that actually, yeah.
With Clancy Brown and Cole Urban.
Yep.
But it's really funny because you can tell when it's the extras doing it because they had a bunch of Icelandic extras.
Yep.
Because the pronunciation is way different. It's like, that's an Icelandic guy talking. For sure.
He knows how to say that word properly. Yeah. All right. Next, we got Gian C22 at Josh. Any chance we'll see some Malifaux on MiniWarGaming now that you guys have a bit of freedom to cover more games? Is anybody interested in it? What do you think about it? I will say this. I don't think there's any huge Malifaux fans in the office right now.
No. We know about it, but no.
Yeah. I mean, I would try playing it, but for whatever reason, there's a bunch of different games out there that the look and the feel of the game just doesn't talk to me.
No.
And
Some of the minis are really, really nice, but...
Yeah, when they get more fantastical, kind of, I tend to lose interest because I lean more towards the historical side of things.
Yeah.
So, who knows? I won't say no, we won't cover it, but as far as I know right now, I can't remember the last time I heard somebody talking about, Malifaux or being interested or excited about it. But who knows? Next, we got James Goldsworthy. Hi, I almost said hi, Josh. Hi, guys. I've only been following the channel for a couple of months and love the content. Please keep it coming. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. I've been into 40K since 2nd edition. I've grown up through all the changes associated with various editions. I'm really enjoying 8th edition and have to admit that it's got me excited about the game again. I have one question for each of you. At Josh, what do you feel is the biggest single improvement in 8th edition over all the previous editions of the game? Okay, so to give you an idea, I didn't really play... I think I might have played like one or two quick little trying to figure out how to play not a real game in 2nd edition. 3rd edition is where I started playing. I played all throughout 3rd and all throughout 4th. And the start of 5th. I didn't play 6th. And obviously I played 7th. So I think the biggest improvement in 8th I've seen is the way they've tidied up close combat. It's not perfect, but it's easier to figure out. The game doesn't slow down a ton to make sure every little move is correct. I find it a lot more intuitive. I really like what they've done with that. The other thing is what they've done with the AP system for shooting. Because shooting guns and stuff makes a difference now. I didn't like the all or nothing saves.
Yeah, they went back to fantasy or 2nd edition.
Right.
You have a save modifier.
So those ones, those are my two big things I think that I really like that they've done. As far as core rules of the game, I've said enough about army building and formations and all that junk. I hated that crap. It was no good. Okay, so what do you think, Lee? Because you haven't really played 8th edition,
I haven't played it,
is there things that you really enjoy that they've done?
Well, like I said, I haven't played it, but I've been around when you guys are talking about it. And AOS, of course.
Yep.
So I think they made it more accessible. And we've talked about this.
Yep.
We talked about this before it came out, and people were like, what do you hope they do? And I think our top hope was they get rid of the bloat.
Yep.
And that's what they did.
Yep, they cut the fat.
Yeah.
Good point.
So it makes for faster games, less shenanigans.
I feel like the game's getting back to just being for fun.
Yeah.
Instead of this patchwork nightmare of what it
bringing
was before.
7 codexes for your combined arms army.
Well, it feels like they've taken away some of the gaminess of it. Like the atmosphere feels different.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, here at Lee, which 40K character do you wish Games Workshop would produce a model for, which hasn't already had a model produced for it at some point? So not one that they redo the model, but one that they've never made
like
for.
a famous character they don't have a model for. It's a pretty easy one actually. Rogel Dorn.
I was gonna say this. Make Dorn, hurry up!
He was in the first Horus Heresy book, and he doesn't have a model yet.
Yeah, they need to hurry up and get that model.
But
out.
I think that he's actually being sculpted.
They Forge World talked about this a little while ago. That he's...
I know you said Games Workshop, but to me, Games Workshop and Forge World are kind of the same thing.
Yep.
But if you want to go strictly Games Workshop, there is a guy that had a model back in 3rd edition who got recently purchased by someone in the building. It's Doom Rider.
Doom Rider.
Because we've been talking about him a lot. And
I love Doom Rider.
yeah.
And
there's some really cool conversions of him online. I've been looking at stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, I have to go buy bits now.
yeah, like a modern interpretation of Doom Rider would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would be funky.
Yeah. So those 2 guys, Doom Rider and Dorn.
All right, here. Josh, it was cool meeting with you. This is Kurt to you. It was cool meeting with you and talking about fantasy at Nova. Wish could have had talked longer, but a tournament was calling my name. We'll try to bring up my Skaven and throw down with the good old ogres. Yeah, met a lot of cool people. I just got back from the Nova Open at this point a couple days ago. So yeah, for sure. I'd love to just murder rats. It's fun.
Yeah.
And now that Cullen's back at school, I don't get the chance to murder rats nearly as much. Even though he hates playing ogres in
You
every
want
game
to murder
system.
some rats? Rats?
Rats. Yeah, okay. I don't think you guys would have ever seen it on camera, but Cullen had this weird thing that when he was moving stuff, he didn't realize it, but he kind of went master of puppets.
Yeah.
Because he's like, all right, I'm going to move. And off camera, you go, okay, dogs are going to move, so we're going to go dogs, and move 3 at a time.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize he was doing it until I pointed it out.
Yeah, we started laughing at him.
And yeah, it's kind of funny. All right, so how long does it, this question for me, I assume, how long does it take you to grow out your beard facial hair? Is it really obnoxious and itchy for a while or only a little while? I keep my beard relatively trim, so I was just curious. I grew my beard out when I was 16.
When you shaved it off.
At one point, yeah, like I've had it. I don't think I've been like proper clean shaven for more than a couple days in the last almost 14 years now.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I had to take a quick little second here. Yeah, so I've had it for the better part of 14 years now, or maybe a little bit more than that. What happened is actually, okay, so the day after my 16th birthday, I broke my leg. It was a pretty bad break, so I was in a cast for 7 months, so I couldn't really stand up to shave. So I just kind of let it grow, and I remember showing back up at high school, because I was out of school for like 4 or 5 months. And I just had like at the time, a pretty good beard going for a high school kid.
Oh.
And I came out of nowhere with it. And I've had it ever since. So I actually find it super itchy. If I ever try to shave or anything like that, like my face doesn't like it.
That's because nobody likes your face.
Ouch.
Now I remember when like you did like the mutton chops. You shaved that off. That was really funny. Like,
Right.
hello!
That was just literally like...
You just needed a bowler and like a Victorian outfit.
And that wasn't really like... Obviously it was on purpose, but it wasn't super on purpose. But I think I just wanted to do something different. 'Cause I was going to regrow my beard fully out at that point.
Yeah,
And
then you shaved everything except
Yeah,
the
because
mustache.
I kept the sides shortish for a little while and had it long in the middle. And then when the sides grew out to more of a decent length, I'm like, well, I'm going to even it off. And I was like, well, you know what, I'm just going to take the middle right down. Just for fun and restart.
Yeah.
So yeah, my skin actually does not like getting shaved. Like I got really sensitive skin when it comes to razors and all that. So I'm the exact opposite. Like my face could not take not having hair all over it. But I use a lot of product. Like a lot of product. So Lee, those Deathwatch minis are every nerd's dream team. You need a raise or free donuts or something for those minis.
That's more of a comment than a question.
Yeah.
Do I agree? Yes.
Free donuts?
Or raise. Who says no to money? More money.
Donuts are pretty awesome.
Yeah, can't pay rent or mortgage with donuts.
You're not trying hard enough.
Oh, true. Get more donuts.
Okay, we got time for another couple questions here. We got Hobbit 1987 at Josh. I'm thinking about starting an AOS skirmish army. The models I like best are Kharadron, Overlords, Death, and Sylvaneth. I can't decide which to choose. What would be most effective against Stormcast Eternals? That's what my husband is playing, and I really need a fighting chance there.
Sylvaneth.
Okay, so my generic answer whenever people ask me questions
awesome.
like this is whatever you like the look of. Whatever army you're going to get invested in.
Yeah.
Because I find that if you buy an army for the express purpose of winning games or beating a specific person, you'll get bored of that army pretty quick. So I'd say any of those three could definitely take on Stormcast Eternals with the right build. So figure out what you like the look of and build from there. Out of the three of them, I'm going to guess that if I was to buy into the meta, which I don't buy into the whole meta of what's best, like the power tiers of armies and all that junk. It depends on the player. Sylvaneth is probably the strongest if you know what you're doing with them.
No.
Death can be a really fun army to play, though. I mean, Death is huge. There's a lot of different armies you can do in there. So I'd say...
The dwarves are really cool, though. The Overlords.
The Overlords are super cool, and that's the first one you listed, so I'm assuming they're your favorite. So play Overlords.
Yeah.
Because they're Sky Dwarves and Skyboats.
With Skybeards.
With Skybeards. With metal Skybeards and Sky Guns. Yeah, I really like the Overlords. So, really cool. Whatever you think looks the best. I think they're all effective armies, depending how you build them. And they can all be terrible armies, depending how you build them.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Like, for me, like, if you want to go by the look of everything,
Yeah.
I'd go Sylvaneth. Because the new look of Sylvaneth, in my opinion, is just, it's amazing.
It is pretty cool.
Like, you're talking about hundreds of generations that lives in the forest, and now they're one with the forest type thing.
Right.
And they got, like, exosuits made out of trees and stuff. It's
Yeah, it's like the spirits living inside of the trees.
Yeah. But if you want to go by fluff,
Yeah.
then you do Overlords.
I think the Overlords are cooler looking models anyways. I love them.
Yeah.
I think they're amazing. So yeah, play Overlords. Send me pictures when you get working on them. Okay, so we should have time for two more here. We got Sticky Blue Toffee. Josh, how are you enjoying the new General's Handbook? Do you feel in combination with the FAQs that it's done a good job at balancing out the factions? Anything you're looking forward to trying or facing? I think they did a very good job balancing things out. The one that I talk about a bunch, and people are going to comment, is the Beast Claws, because it's what I play.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Beast Claws and Fire Slayers, they've done a good job of making both of them interesting. So the Beast Claws have had a lot of tweaks that did not affect the character of the army. It still feels like the same army.
Yeah.
But they did tone them back in certain ways and rebalance them to the other factions, so that's good. The Fire Slayers, on the other hand, were a tough army to win with because things were kind of overcosted feeling. And you didn't have any unique stuff. They've given a lot of unique flavor to the army now with the army-wide rules and the
They need more units, though.
Yeah, they could use some more different units.
There's all half-naked dwarves with axes or dragons. That's it.
That's it, yeah. They could use some diversity in the line a little bit there, I think. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. So that's what I think. Yeah, they did a fantastic job. Looking forward to trying or facing. Honestly, like, I go down to saying that whenever somebody brings in an army that they're excited to play with, that's what's most fun to play against, no matter what it is. And I've seen some really cool armies out there. So anything people are, wanting to bring in, there's nothing that sticks out in my mind, like I really want to play this or I really want to play that. Because I think I've played like a good number of different armies, both with and against. All right, we're going to do one last one here. Lord Hedgewitch. Josh, when are you guys going to start doing Team Yankee? Since you mentioned it, I've been looking into it, and it looks awesome. I've been waiting for you guys to cover it before I buy into it. Right now, there's no actual plans for specific dates or anything like that. I've got my Germans that are all painted up, and I could field probably an okay little army with them. Before Cullen took off, he painted up 2 of the Soviet starter boxes. So we've got about 18 T-72s and 4 Hind helicopters ready to go. So they do need a little bit of addition to them. I'm actually, at the time of filming this, I'm not sure if the plastic Russian infantry is out yet or not. But I was holding off on wanting to get some of them. So again, it goes back to near future. So whenever we have time in the studio to do that is when we'll do it. But right now we're busy with a lot of other things. So Team Yankee is a passion project. I'm still super interested in it, and it's whenever I can get around to doing it and getting the resources necessary. So probably what I'll do is I'll order a little bit more Soviet stuff, and I'll probably put the feelers out on Facebook to try to find some local players to come in and just play a couple fun test game kind of stuff so I can learn the game better. But yeah, that's where we're at with Team Yankee. So I am going to go ahead and we're going to stop this video here. Lee and I are going to go ahead and jump into the MiniWarGaming Vault to answer the rest of the questions in there. So any questions you might have not had answered yet, head over that way. If you're a Vault member, check out the link below. If you're not a Vault member, you can click the link below anyways. It'll take you to a 7-day free trial for the Vault. And yeah, you get to check out the other part of this video as well as everything else we have in the Vault. So all the content we do, we try to do in pairs. So that's pretty well twice as much content, actually a little bit more than that because there's a lot more in the Vault nowadays too. So twice as many games, you get access to Chris and Janine's painting tips and tricks, fun behind the scenes stuff, all sorts of good stuff there, guys. Remember, next week is QFed himself answering your questions. So leave the comments in this video, your questions in this video for him, not the Vault video because he won't look there for any of the questions. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome. And as always, happy wargaming.